objects. Neutral tile set. Yes,
Get my character sheet up.
Is that you probably want like the standard pentagram to lay the body on, and then you're supposed to mix some of your blood with the venom of your familiar.
Okay.
It actually does specify that if you're Kholinar and you have a serpent familiar, you have to use the venom of your serpent to call.
That's good.
Well, it also shows that you're not, you're serious about it.
Right.
Because she's very big on snakes, and if you didn't have a serpent, it'd be really call into question whether your ability to do this.
All this is serious here. I am underneath my ritual. I'm under the floor. Okay, I am above the floor.
Let's see if we can find a good picture for this one. Doesn't look right. Looks like an old woman, but not a young. I guess that one will probably look well. There we go. So that'll work. And pretty much the book goes over basically after you draw like certain little sigils on it. The book actually shows you pictures of them. Most of them kind of look a little bit like serpents. Then you basically start intoning her name to call her from, and it should channel down to her.
So I just repeat her name.
Yeah, as you're drawing the sigils on her in the mixture of venom and blood.
I'm glad Flames is not around to see this. He'd smite me on sight.
Well, you don't have to worry about Flames much. He's decided he's been given the offer of staying at Lady Jasmine's mansion. So.
Okay.
So he's still in the same little town area, but he's same little district area, but he's not going to be staying at the house, so you don't have to worry about him wandering in. Malbus is muttering to himself.
Do I need to cast any spells to complete the ritual?
You shouldn't, but I would still roll a die 20 to see what goes on. I want to see what the die is, depending on that. Also help determine what mood maybe she's in.
Okay.
That's good. Alright. As you complete the sigils on different parts of her body, arms, legs, forehead, chest area, places like that, they as you chant, they start to glow, and until finally the eyes just blink open. Instead of the milky eyes that you may have glimpsed briefly before while you were preparing the body, they've suddenly become pretty much black eyes with completely black, no whites at all, with red slits running down it vertically. Vertically, like a snake's eyes would look.
I kneel down a bit and I raise up my hands.
Are you saying anything? Are you planning on saying anything to her, or are you just raising up your hands?
Okay, so I'm going to say, Selena, mistress of snakes, I call call upon you so that I hope to make a deal with you.
As you finish saying this, a soft chuckle emanates from the body, and she opens her eyes wider for a second, and then sits up, as if she's always owned this body. She no longer looks like she's been rotting or anything like that. She looks extremely pale still, clearly a member of the undead or somebody who's never ever seen the sun before. But there's just a slight radiance now to her form to show that it's more animated, less potential bones breaking through or anything like that. The skin's no longer, none of the sad decomposition stuff that you probably saw earlier before you cast prestidigitation on her.
Okay then.
The other new feature that's added to her beyond this animation and beyond the eyes is that as she chuckles, you get a glimpse of her mouth, and in addition to her normal teeth, her canines have turned into the backwards sliding serpent teeth. You know what I mean? The fangs that you would have been milked your serpent of.
Okay.
Who calls me? She asks.
My name is Maldus. I am but a humble wizard, hoping to strike a deal with you.
She looks from you and starts putting hands over her body just to see things out. Interesting. Nice fit, she says. And what kind of deal do you need, Sir Wizard?
I wished to make a pact with you for power.
Many mortals do. Those that have any sense, anyway. And where is your familiar?
I let my serpent uncoil from my arm and slide down in front of me.
She reaches one of her cold hands out and allows the serpent to wind around her wrist temporarily while she pets the head. Well taken care of, little one, I see. What do you usually feed it?
I feed him mostly small rodents that he catches, and rations if none are to be found. He is a loyal companion of mine and one who has seen me through many hardships.
Always good to see. She gently hands the serpent back to you.
I'll coil back up my sleeve.
It's always nice to see wizards well taken care of their familiars, especially if they are some of the serpent kind. You'd be surprised who dares to summon me with an ill-kept serpent at their side.
How dare they?
In this body, did you kill it yourself, or did you merely fetch it?
I merely fetched this body.
I see. One of morals or simply opportunity?
Simply opportunity. I would have not hesitated to do such a thing should it have proved necessary.
It is always prudent to do what needs to be done, but one does not always have to go the extra mile, as others might say. It's much easier just to acquire what one needs. Many of my people see it that way. Tell me, what do you know of me so far?
I simply know from what I read of you in the archives. I know that you are very powerful and wise and hold domain over some part of the infernal plane.
Yes.
You punish the vain in your particular hell, correct?
She chuckles slightly. Yes. Vanity is a plague. There are so many out there that, especially when they find that they are Not where they thought they'd be after death. Oh, they get so indignant until I finally silence them. But do not worry, if you are not suffering from a vein problem, you will not have to worry about punishment there. Unless, of course, after a deal has been struck, if you, well, disappoint me majorly. That does happen occasionally, but it's rare.
I will strive to meet your expectations.
Good, very good. She finally climbs up to her feet, testing out her new legs. Now, what sort of deal are you interested in?
I was hoping that you could perhaps rant upon me the secrets of the fiendish venom sphere. Of course, not cast from my charisma as they tend to be, but of my intellect. I am not one to force my personality onto others. I'm sure you would disapprove of such things.
Many of my people work from the shadows to get the job done. They tend to sneak around and use other agents if need be.
I wait for her to elaborate. Is she talking about... I'll ask, actually. Do you mean for me to become one of your servants?
Well, in time, eventually, as death will usually come to any mortal. But for right now, you'd be fine to live your own life. But if we do strike a deal, that deal does include joining my kingdom. But do not worry, it is not a kingdom of punishment for those who are not suffering from vanity. My people, well, you could say that they live like any other realm. Serve my will when needed. My particular domain. You might have heard that many in the fiendish realms are embroiled in battles over and over. Do you not?
Yes, indeed.
Well, in my little section, we do not really battle each other that way. Although occasionally I will dispatch one of my assassins out to help out one of my allies. I am less concerned about gaining more territory than simply enjoying what I have.
One with such power as yours, I can understand why you would be content.
Yes, many of the demon lords out there, they lack contentment since they do not wish to keep simply what they have. They crave what they do not have. But there are many worlds in suburbia. And I hold my sway over one. I do not need more. Where would I... It would get boring if I had more types of... Well, I guess some people just refer to them as sinners to contend with. And I have enough people as it comes my way. I do like occasionally adding the more interesting lots to my kingdom. But beyond that...
I hope that perhaps one day I will be of some use to your kingdom. I grin.
Good. Good. That is always a preference. So, you said you wished various serpent boons, yes?
Yes.
Well, I offer some boons to my people, but if they perform certain services for me. As it so happens, I believe this is Tuala, yes?
Indeed, that is correct.
Good. I have heard that there is something of interest here in the city that I might be able to acquire. Now, if you and your companions could acquire it still alive for me, I will be able to grant you the boons that you desire.
What would this object or person that you desire be?
Tell me, have you heard of a creature called the basilisk?
I believe so. The six-legged lizard that petrifies with a gaze.
I consider those to be mutants, even though they are prolific. There are more than one kind. The six-legged freaks, as you refer to them, are not the pure basilisk. They disgust me. They have legs. No, what I seek is a pure basilisk. A serpent.
Roll a knowledge check on this pure basilisk.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked that in D&D, basilisks are lizards with 6 legs. Basilisks are giant serpents, damn it!
Would this be Arcana?
Yes.
Okay.
Then yes, you are aware of these differences. While the 6-legged one apparently breeds better because of something or another, therefore there's more of them. The one that looks like a serpent is they're both referred to as basilisks. They look the same if you first see them by their heads, and they have the same abilities. But the serpent ones are, let's just say they're rarer now. They used to be a lot more common. Seeing one is just kind of like seeing a double rainbow. It's very difficult to say.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so you would know from that yes, there has been such a thing, but they're now considered rare and unusual. Whereas Selena, they're clearly the epitome of basilisk.
Okay then, so much more powerful then too, huh? Okay, how big are they?
Give me 1 second to try to remember that. And see that you definitely know that from that roll check. So let me just double check on that size, because I have the size in my head, but then I remembered it should probably be incomparable to the size of the regular 6-legged. So I have to double check on their size.
That's like medium creatures. They're like little thing.
As you start pondering it, a basilisk of what she's talking about is actually more like the size of an abysmal greater basilisk. But they don't have any legs. They're serpents that have the same size and such like that. They don't have quite the abilities like of an abysmal basilisk, but they still have a greater size. They are more of a large creature than a medium. Mostly because they're long. Because they're serpent, rather. Yeah. So their length makes them a large. It will be some undertaking if you choose to go after it. The only thing I can offer you is a temporary boon for the duration of a quest that will allow you to remain flesh should it attempt to turn you.
Your generosity is most appreciated.
The condition, of course, is that you find a way of taking it alive. Not an easy task, but if you do, if you can get it, you will be an honored mortal among my ranks. And hopefully then I will not see you for some time. Unless, of course, you call me back to chat. But she chuckles a bit.
I would not wish to waste your time with such trivial things.
Well, regardless, I'll be spending a little time in this mortal body until we can conclude our business. And should you fail, I will not be pleased, but since we do not yet have quite of a deal struck, that means if you fail and displease me, I have no course to punish you, since you not yet belong to my kingdom.
I nod, and at the same
Yeah.
time, I think so.
She's basically saying that that means that when your character dies, he won't be sucked to her realm to be punished for not fulfilling her will.
But if I don't, then I won't get the powers when I complete
Exactly.
it either.
Um, basically, how it works is that once you're marked, marked by a demon, the books do say that when you die, you immediately get sucked down into their particular world, instead of facing any of the other trials that come to those who don't have any place else to go. It's like basically that's how I figured out how the system works. Where if you don't have a particular god or patron or something like that in the afterlife, you basically have to wander through ethereal or shadow to get to the to get basically to what I'm guessing purgatory is. It's kind of like this way station that's kind of in between infernal and celestial, and then depending on it kind of has this activator in there that's kind of like gravity, except instead of weight, it pulls you one direction or the other based on your life choices, so to speak, like your sins or your virtues.
Right.
So then you get pulled either towards celestial or infernal, and from there you make other choices depending on what you want to do. Or if you try to hang around infernal, you can eventually become enslaved and therefore get sent to any of the particular realms in infernal. But if you
This sounds like a much better deal for Malthus because he's evil and has no god.
yeah, so basically she's offering him a place in her particular realm that where she only punishes the vain, so you don't have to actually worry about it otherwise. And she basically, has a kingdom down there, and that's where people that she likes and collects live. And apparently, a lot of them are like assassins and necromancers and other like serpent type people.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of thinking about it, and that's because I was like reading some of the stuff up there, and it's like there's the various sins, and vanity is a pride sin, so it'd be in Superbia, but then vanity was people who were overly vain were cursed into becoming Medusa. So it occurred to me that somebody, a person who really likes serpent types would probably be the Punisher of the vain,
Ah.
and therefore that's why she's, Suburbia there. And there's a thing for basilisks, so it's like explains a lot after a fashion. But basically, she's making that offer to you. But the thing is, trying to catch a live basilisk is going to be tough. And she's not giving you a set time though to catch it. She's just saying is you have to catch it alive. You can't just go off and kill it.
Okay, here's what we got. We got a 31 on that knowledge arcana check. Can I know the tables for this thing? Like
Okay.
some of its stats?
Sure. Let me grab the book back out. Sorry, I put the book back up on my shelf already. Oops. I don't need that bookmark there.
Is it pretty much just like the normal basilisk, just more serpentine, or
Let's see.
bigger?
The basilisk. Sorry, excuse me. This kind is a lot longer and therefore is large. It doesn't prefer. You know that the serpent basilisk is not a desert creature, but more of a warm climate, jungle sort. But is also known to sometimes. Basically, it's more like a jungle creature. The best explanation you have if one's in town is that some idiot tried to keep one as a pet.
Good lord! Unless you're an undead, that's not gonna go well.
Yeah, I'm like thinking of the idiots who try to keep wild giant cats as pets, in our world, and you know how well that goes.
That's not gonna go well unless you raise that from a cub. Even then, you'd have
Even
some
then,
trouble.
sometimes they get really territorial and pissy at the person who raised them. So,
Yeah.
but basically, you know from that stuff that since they're rarer, they tend to be they're at least solitary. They're more prone to jungles than to in the deserts, and they
These.
they're supposed possibly poisonous. There's like a chance of them being poisonous, basically.
Okay, and do they have any special resistances to anything?
Let's look at this. They're probably They're also resistant to poison to standard poison damage. And unlike their many-legged cousins, they are actually a lot faster. So their speed is in initiative are up. Let me write that down right now.
How do their saves look? What's their highest like? Are they strong physically, very resilient? Are they very agile and reflexive, or do they have high mental fortitude? Like,
Um, they have
or
the standard They pretty much have the standard basilisk. Well, for saves, they have the standard basilisk fort. They have a slightly higher reflex, and they have normal. They have the normal will as well.
okay, that I'm pleased with this. I think, and if I'm immune to the okay, so standard basilisk that puts it. Okay, that's gonna be all right. If the will is lower, maybe I can actually do something about keeping this thing from killing us. Okay, poison. I just am trying to think of like if Maldus would be ready for this. Okay.
It's a CR5 creature, at least in the book.
Yeah.
But so the biggest challenge is to get it alive and to convince the other people in your group to help you get it alive.
And this thing seems like it's more of a CR6 from what you're telling me. The
Yeah,
upgrade.
probably a upgrade to CR6.
Okay. I'll
Hey,
since she
devil.
gave me no set time,
Yeah, I
what
know
I
it is.
will ask her one more thing. Do you know the location of this creature that you desire?
In fact, I believe it. This is the Upper Crest District, correct? She looks around, even though it's a
Correct.
very dilapidated area. She's looking around. Yes.
Correct.
Well then. Let's... there we go. Anyway, yes, the basilisk that I think that was in one of the houses up a bit on the ridge. You'll notice the house because by now things are likely overgrown, and there was a very large garden out front, overgrown hedges, and periodic stone statues. From what I understand, is quite lovely, right? At least from my sensibilities.
The basilisk is within this city?
Yes, living inside that garden.
How is it possible that the town has not known of this?
Well, because it's a somewhat isolated house, and the basilisk hasn't ventured out of the house area of the ground limits, from what I understand.
Ah, I see. Alright, then I need to check one thing on Maldus's sheet before I go. Alright, that will be good. That will be helpful with this. That's always okay. I know what I need for this. I think I can I think I can catch this basilisk alive if I'm clever. Um, it won't be easy if I get a bad
It
roll
just
at.
says petrifying gaze on these basilisks, and it's really stone gaze. Well, it's upgraded my stuff to stone gaze because basilisk was always my favorite compared to basilisk and Medusa. I always like much far better than things like cockatrice and stuff like that because they're like, meh. 'Cause I always like the serpent stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got stone gaze rather than just petrifying gaze. Because petrifying gaze will just, to me sounds like you're just standing still to where you're going to be eaten. Whereas stone gaze, you're turning into a statue.
All right. And if I accept this, well, okay. So I should probably ask her what exactly she will grant me. All right. Let's think the best way to word this. And what sort of boons shall I be granted in return for presenting you with this live specimen?
Hmm. Huh. You said you didn't wish to look different, correct? Or did I misunderstand you?
I do not mind a shift of appearance if it comes with more power.
Perhaps we can discuss that for over time. But for now, the standard bonuses are as follows. You will continue to be immune to being turned into stone, which is always useful. You will become immune to poisons. You will know how to speak to snakes, more so than you're just being able to communicate with your familiar. And no, Devil, it's not. It's just Void Stone. We've been playing this for a while. Sorry.
No problem. All good. This is exciting.
And I think you'd also find it useful not to be able to be knocked unconscious.
I smile at that, indeed.
And that's just a start for being in my good graces.
And did she make any comment about the request I had at the beginning, or?
I think I may have missed it by accident. Sorry.
Oh no! At the very beginning, I had asked her if she would consider granting upon me the secrets of the Venom Sphere from the Fiendish Magics.
Oh.
Cast, of course, not off charisma because that would be.
Oh, that's right. Venom Sphere is a specific magic type. Sorry,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that because it's not in my standard books.
Yeah, I had asked you about that before.
Yeah, I know. I in fact, as soon as you repeated that, that's what I suddenly remembered. We discussed that before, and I thought it looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
I say, you seem like a worthy student for that.
And I bow. Thank you for your. Let me see here. I need. Hold on one second. I need to just double check and see if I have the right thing for that. Excellent. Okay then. So I will say. Thank you for considering this pact with me, Lady Selena. I will not disappoint you.
Good. Good. I shall hope not. It looks like she's planning on staying there in the dilapidated part of the house for a while.
Is there anything I can get you?
Just what I asked for you.
I nod and I will go off to, I suppose, tell people about what our new quest is gonna be. I also am gonna need a new spell.
Yeah. It's too bad Sarah isn't on. She's someone I wanted to get together with last week, but too. And Tormenta said he was hoping to be on tonight, but he never gave it time.
Okay, so I'll just be honest with you, out of character. Like, do you want me to tackle this thing head on and legit, or would you be annoyed with me if I got too clever and I got this thing down without it putting up much of a fight. I'm worried about it.
Well, either way is good. First and foremost, you're gonna have to find it.
Right.
As pointed out, you're going to be wandering through an overgrown maze with unknown other dangers in there.
Of course. Um, Maldus is probably gonna go to the Mages Guild, and he is gonna try to learn Shivering Touch.
That would probably be for the next morning, because right now
Yeah,
it's late at night on the 30th, turning into the 31st, and you probably want to wait until the morning of the 31st.
will do. All right then.
So the only people you need to tackle sometime is Sarah and Tormenta.
I'd love to be around for some stuff. Grodd still hasn't gotten
That's
to
true.
his.
We haven't done anything with Grad, but it's like Grad is kind of there, and Maldus is the more interesting character. No offense. Well, I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure we can find something fun with Grad at some point where we love him more than Maldus, but still.
yeah, I love doing this stuff with Maldus. He was my first character, but I feel attached to Grodd too. Like he's still one of my characters.
He's a good kid. He's Maldus' counterpoint.
Mm-hmm. I liked playing the polar opposites there.
Do you like how the house is coming along?
Oh yeah. I'm not so sure Cujo's gonna like that I now have a demon lady in his house. Gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to apologize for that one.
She's gonna take all the bacon away.
She's gonna eat the bacon. I thought the
That's.
door was gonna eat all the bacon. Now we have a demon like.
I was making a joke.
Oh, I was thinking like the demon lord and the